Hola, it's your girl Bella Be the Goddess. Welcome to all my nymphos and lovers and sex kittens out there. I wanted to dress up for you guys today because we're talking about a very serious subject, hypersexuality disorder, and I felt like a dress today, so why not? So the topic of discussion, as you can see, is hypersexuality. What is it? What is that all about? If you have hypersexuality disorder, does that make you a nympho? Are you a nympho if you have hypersexuality disorder? Are those things the same? What's up with that, right? So we're going to answer those questions today, and stay with me to the end of the video. I'll give you some tips and tricks for people that do have hypersexuality disorder, right? Cool. So, I'm going to look up basically what does it mean via Google. What does Google say about what is hypersexuality disorder, right? If you didn't watch my last video from last week, go back and watch that. What is a nympho video under my name. That's me. Bella Be the Goddess. So I'm going to read you the definition for hypersexuality disorder and what it means basically according to Google. And then I'm going to give you my definition and what I think the differences are and the similarities, right? So, compulsive sexuality behavior is sometimes called hypersexuality disorder or sexual addiction. It's an excessive preoccupation with sexual fantasies, urges, or behaviors that is difficult to control, causes you to distress or negatively affects your health, job, relationships, and other parts of your life. Okay? So if you look up nympho under the same definition on Google, like it basically has the same definition. If you look up nympho and hypersexuality, it basically has verbatim the same definition. And I wanted to clear some things up, me personally, because I am a nympho, but I don't have a hypersexuality disorder. Now, here's why. Hypersexuality disorder is more of a hard addiction. Now, when you're addicted to something, it's like you just are consumed by this thing. You're basically a slave to whatever you're addicted to. So if you're addicted to crack, if you're addicted to weed, if you're addicted to gambling, whatever your addiction may be, you're a slave to this thing. You have to have it no matter what goes on in your life, no matter what it can cause you in your everyday life, your relationships, your job. You don't care. You just need your fix because that's what you need. You need your addiction. You need your fix, right? So that's pretty much the difference between hypersexuality disorder and being a nympho. Because when you're a nympho, you can control yourself. You are the master. You're not the slave. You're on the opposite spectrum. Yes, you do have a high libido. Yes, you do have a high sex drive. Yes, you do like to get it in. Yeah, you might masturbate a lot. You might even watch a lot of porn. But you know that there's a time and place for everything. In your head, you can determine when to do this and when not to do this. People with the hypersexuality disorder give no fucks. They can't. It's not that they don't want to. It's just that they're not balanced enough in this area and their addiction to care. They can't at this moment and point in time. Right? But it can be changed. So for my people that think they might have a hypersexuality disorder, don't worry. We got you. Some things can be fixed. Some things can be changed. It's not the end of the world. Everything is going to be okay. I've seen a lot of videos of women crying and depressed and sad about having hypersexuality disorder. And it can be stressful. It can. And honestly, I had hypersexuality disorder when I was younger. When I was as a teenager up until my early 20s, I had hypersexuality disorder and didn't even know it. But it took me a while, but I finally have gotten through to the nympho stage. And now I'm no longer a slave to my addiction, and now I'm the master. So let me explain. I took a lot of notes, y'all. So if I'm looking down, I'm reading notes because I've been researching this all week and it's a lot. So I'm just gonna try to be quick with it though. So these are some symptoms that you may have if you are hypersexual, if you have hypersexuality disorder. These are some symptoms that you may have. These are things that might be plaguing you, and they're just things that might be going on in your everyday life and you're not sure why. You might have hypersexuality disorder. First one is you think about sex all the time. Obviously, duh, that's what this is all about. So we're going to move on. Second one is you're having one night stands. Now this could be for a woman or a man. You're having a lot of excessive one night stands. These are things that can be detrimental to your health. Therefore, this falls on the side of being hypersexuality disorder, because these are things that can harm you if you do it excessively, right? And then you're excessively masturbating. Like, you don't have an idea of when it's appropriate or when it's not appropriate to masturbate. You might be on your lunch break trying to masturbate in the office. That's stuff that can get you fired, but you don't care because you need your fix. That falls on the side of being hypersexual or having a hypersexual disorder, right? Then another thing. So this is something that can fall for men and women as well. You could be very, disattached to your sexual partners. So you can have sex with somebody and the next day see them on the street and act like you don't know them, depending on who you with. Okay? That's how disattached you can be to your sex partners. Or you can have sex with somebody and you get up, you done had your fun, you get up, you put on your clothes, you're ready to go. You're not trying to cuddle, you ain't trying to hold hands, you ain't trying to pillow talk, you're just trying to go because you done got what you came for and you're trying to go. So that's a sign of someone who has a hypersexuality disorder. They stay disattached from their sex partners, right? And that can be on both sides. Now we're gonna split these symptoms up into man versus female or woman, right? So for men that might have hypersexuality disorder, the symptoms are such as some man or some person who may pay for sex. Even though they have sexual partners, even though they have long-lasting relationships, they may be in a relationship with a woman for many years and still cheat with prostitutes, or they might have a side girlfriend. They might have many girlfriends. They literally don't care about hurting. It's not that they don't care. It's just that over their addiction, they don't care. Like, compared to their addiction, they can't care as much about their significant other. And they'll pay for sex, or they'll pay for phone sex. That's another symptom. You can pay for phone sex. They got all those numbers nowadays. They watch excessive porn. Now that can fall on the side of men and women. So, because at one point in time, I was addicted to porn. So I'm not just like, saying these things because I don't know what I'm talking about. After doing my research, I realized I had the hypersexuality disorder throughout my high school years up until my early 20s. But now that I'm a little bit more mature, I'm getting my life together, I have a little bit more insight, I'm a nympho, and I'm okay with that because I don't feel stressed out about it. It's not hurting me, it's not messing with me. Okay, moving on. So so another thing is, this man is always trying to fuck. He's always trying to fuck. He's always trying to fuck somebody. something, somebody. It don't matter where y'all at. It don't matter if y'all at the store, at the movies. He's trying to talk to somebody. He's trying to get some numbers. He's trying to make some connections so that later on he can go over Shorty's house and smash. That is that, like, you know that song, I Ain't a Player, I Just Crush a Lot. That is the hypersexuality disorder. Like, that person, that type of behavior is on the disorder side. Even though this person got a girlfriend sitting at home, he's still gonna try to get this girl's number at the carryout. That's just how it is, unfortunately. So, you know, there's levels to it. And, you know, this person, this guy might be called a player, he might be called a hoe, he might be called a pimp, he might be called all these different things, but really he's just addicted to the feeling of sex. He's addicted to the feeling of after sex and the chemicals that go off in your mind after sex. He's addicted to the whole thing. So he's, you know, he's consumed by it. He can't help it, right? Now, moving on to the women. Women, since we, you know, we have, you know, the gold. Since we have, you know, since we have the pussy, we're not paying for sex. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know a woman who's ever paid for sex, me personally. But we won't pay for it monetarily, but we'll pay for it in different ways. Now, let me explain. So, women will pay for sex, like staying in a toxic relationship. You're staying in a toxic relationship for consistent dick. This is a big no, sis. This is hypersexuality disorder behavior, because you know the relationship is toxic, but yet and still you still share your womb with this person. You still fuck this person, you still suck this person, you still mess with this person, and will continue to mess with this person because the dick is just that good to you. It could be trash to the next girl, but to you it's the bomb.com, and you're just gonna keep up. You're just gonna stay with this dude and put up with all his bullshit, even though he ain't got no car, he ain't got no job, he don't do nothing. He got time to fuck, and that's all that you worried about. You know what I mean? And so that's toxic behavior. That's something that falls on the disorder side of things, not on the nympho side of things. Keeping it moving. Also, another thing a female will do is fucking with people that aren't worth their time. So that kind of falls under the category of being in a toxic relationship and staying in a toxic relationship, but it's more for like people that are single. So if you're single and you're out there just having a bunch of like one night stands, and you know that if you was really sober you wouldn't have fucked that dude, or if you know that you don't really know dude like that, but you just like, man, I don't care, I just want some dick, like and you would never be in a relationship with her. He could never step to your plate in a different way. Then that's a sign of sexuality disorder, right? Next, might be willing to sell herself for sex given the right circumstances. So, given the right circumstances, even though the woman, like I said in my last video, being a nympho doesn't always make you a hoe. So even though this person isn't a hoe, she might be an accountant, she might be a waitress, she might do a whole lot of other things. She might be something else completely, but somebody caught her at the right time, at the right place, and was like, yo, I'll give you this if you give me that. And she was like, shit, okay. Because she just wanted to fix her. She just wanted to feed her addiction. She wanted to feed her addiction, and you were going to give her some money on top of it. So why not? You know what I mean? That's hypersexuality disorder behavior, because it's not something that you would normally do, but you did it anyway. And so those are things that you really, want to try to stay away from. But it happens. It happens. And, no judgment here, guys. I'm just letting y'all know these are some of the symptoms. Last symptoms for the ladies is doing sexual things for attention, doing extra sexual things for attention. So what I mean by that is, right, like girls that twerk on the gram. Why are we twerking on the gram, ladies? Why? What you gonna get? What you gonna get on the gram for twerking? Like, what you gonna get? Nothing. But some women enjoy it because they get sexual attention back. Some women will get dick in their, dick pics in their DMs, and that shit will make them like waterfall. It does something for them. So again, feeding that sexual addiction. Now, moving on. So, if you're diagnosed with some of these things, like say if you're like, okay, I think I might have sexuality disorder, right? And you're diagnosed for these things, should you go to a doctor? Do you think it's, something that's really bad for you? Is your life falling apart? Are you doing crazy things and it's making your boyfriend left you, your girlfriend left you, things are happening to you and you can't figure out what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like now, if you're diagnosed or you self-diagnose yourself with this, if you go to the doctor, they can prescribe you medication, like serious medication, like antidepressants, mood stabilizers, something that start with the N that I can't pronounce. And the shit can get scary. And those pills will have their own side effects. So, my next video, not this video, because this is pretty long already. So my next video is going to be on some things to help you evolve from having a serious addiction, being in a disorder state of mind, and being in a euphoric state of mind, being a nympho and enjoying your sexuality, embracing your sexuality in a healthy way. Because we want to do things in a healthy way. That's all it's about. Healthy versus non-healthy. A disorder is not healthy versus being a nympho. And they're not the same thing. So that is the whole point of this video. So I wanted to basically let you guys know. Next video, we're going to go over some tips to basically help our people that have this disorder, that are paying for sex, paying for some phone sex, having excessive sex or masturbation or one night stands, whatever your case may be, or it might be a lot of them all bundled into one. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to basically get out of that, and some things that can kind of help you stabilize how you're feeling without any pills, without any side effects, right? Because again, we're looking to do things in a more healthy way. So if this video helped you guys, I would appreciate it if you guys give me a thumbs up. If you like the video, if you learned anything new, give me a thumbs up. If you think somebody could use this video, share it with somebody. Subscribe to the channel, and you can always send me I accept cash apps. My name is the same on all my social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram as Bella B the Goddess. Is spelled the way you see it everywhere on my page. So y'all, let me know what you think. Do you think that you have hypersexuality disorder, or do you think that you're more of an nympho? Do you think that you're more balanced in your way of your sexuality in your life, and things are, even for you, and you're able to balance work and sex and life? Or are you falling on the disorder side and you feel like you might need help? Do you feel like things are kind of falling by the wayside because of your sexual addiction? You guys let me know. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Peace.